Coming up on today's show, could the Seattle Seahawks make a blockbuster trade for Matthew Judon of the New England Patriots? We have some rumors to get to on that front that will be pretty intriguing, I can tell you that much. Also, Jessie Bates, the star safety from the Atlanta Falcons, could he be on his way to Seattle? We'll discuss that trade possibility in just a little while from right now. I am your fearless leader, Tyler Jones, here with you. Thanks for joining us. Our friends over at the Cowboys Report, Tom Downey, Chris Daughtry, those frauds over there, they called me up this week and said, Tyler, there is no way in hell you guys can get 1,000 likes on a video. We did it the other day on Cowboys. No way you guys could do this on Seahawks today. And I said, you know what, Tom? First off, F the Cowboys. You guys choke every January. It's going to happen again. And we're going to prove you wrong, and we're going to beat you right here, right now. So let's get 1,000 likes on today's video. Stick it to Tom Downey. Let's make it happen. Like the video, and we'll get started with today's show. Let's begin with New England. That's where we start off with multiple rumors coming in from both Heavy.com and CBS Sports suggesting that the Seahawks make a trade for veteran pass rusher Matthew Judon. Matthew Judon coming off a year where he was injured, had a season-ending injury in the fourth game of the year, but the year prior to that had a career season, and he was off to a great start to this year before he ultimately got hurt. So what about bringing him to Seattle? Let's start with what CBS Sports had to say. This is from Douglas Lawson. The Seahawks, they hired former Ravens DC Mike Macdonald is their head coach, so it's time for the Seahawks to return to the Legion of Boom days. Now, the return, right? Getting back to the LOB days and everything. If you want to get back to those days, if you want to make a push for a guy like Matthew Judon, here's the deal. You have to believe that this Seahawks team is ready to compete right now. If you are going to make a push for a veteran like Matthew Judon, who's on the tail end of his prime, and make that type of trade, you have to say to yourself, now is our time to capitalize. If you believe that this is a rebuilding year, then you don't worry about making a deal for Matthew Judon. Here's what Heavy.com had to say. If the Seahawks acquire Judon, who is still in his peak, it could be the asset they need to lift them from a mere playoff contender into a Super Bowl contending one. And I think this point is worth bringing up as well. When you look at the landscape in the NFC, it's not great, right? The Niners are back. The Eagles have question marks. The Cowboys have question marks. Some of the other teams around the league, around this conference, you know, the Falcons, people think are going to step up. The Bucs are a little sus. There's a huge window for the Seahawks to compete in the NFC that if they feel like they're ready, if this team's in position, they could capitalize on a weak conference to potentially make that Super Bowl run. Here's what a potential trade for Matthew Judon could look like. You could give up a 4th and 5th round pick next year, take Judon and the Patriots' 6th round pick, so you move down a little bit. It doesn't cost you a lot, relatively speaking, for the talent level of Matthew Judon, but you also have to take on his contract as well. Judon, former 5th-round pick out of Grand Valley State back in 2016, joined the Patriots in 2021, and in 2022 had a career-high 15.5 sacks. That was the best season of his career. It was a Pro Bowl campaign, and prior to the injury last season, he was looking at a run that included 4 straight Pro Bowl appearances. And here's what we're talking about the numbers on Matthew Judon, folks. 4 sacks in 4 games this past season, 15.5 in 2022, 12.5 in 2021. I don't question the talent level of Matthew Judon. I don't think that's the issue here. The issue is the age. Will he slow down? And will the injuries continue? Because what we typically see is as guys get older, the injuries don't get better for guys like that. So, let's ask you now. Should the Seahawks trade for Matthew Judon? Type T for trade, P for pass. Weigh in our pinned comment today. Let us know what you think. Seahawks Today is covering the Seattle Seahawks each and every day with daily news and rumors. We're bringing you live shows not just once but twice a week, every Wednesday and Friday. Anytime there's breaking news, if they add a guy like Matthew Judon, for example, we'll bring you a video as quick as we can here on the channel. We'll have watch parties for every game this season as well. We are your off-season headquarters. Lock us in. Subscribe now for free. Let's get at least 20 subs off today's video. Can the 12s deliver? Can we get 20 subs? Make it happen right now. Join the family. Subscribe now for free. YouTube.com/Seahawks TV. Let's head to Atlanta now, where 12th Man Rising, the Seahawks fan-sided site, is recommending that the Seahawks trade for Atlanta Falcons safety Jessie Bates III. Listen to this from Luke Allen. Bringing in a talent like Jessie Bates with natural smooth instincts and a knack for making a play on the ball may pique Macdonald's interest more than Stone's, referring to Geno Stone, who the Seahawks passed on, ultimately went to Cincinnati. Taking an already established elite safety and placing him in Macdonald's defense could make for some serious production in the young Seattle secondary. Jessie Bates is a player who makes others around him play better. Bates' presence and leadership made up for a serious lack of talent and experience in Cincinnati's Super Bowl run a couple of short years ago. All right, hold the phone here, folks. We're not doing the Jamal Adams thing again. All right? We saw what happened the last time the Seahawks sold the farm to trade for a young safety and how poorly that worked out, right? I'm not interested in investing that much in the safety spot again, especially when you consider I think that this Seahawks safety room is better than what 12th Man Rising is trying to give credit for. I think Julian Love is a very good safety coming off a Pro Bowl campaign. I think he's due for another good year in 2024. I like Rayshon Jenkins a lot. You bring him over from the Jags. I don't think he's come close to hitting his ceiling yet. I think he's a natural fit for this Mike Macdonald defense. I just don't see it. The Seahawks have other needs that they should address, but I'm not giving up a lot for Jessie Bates. You're looking at, I think, probably about a second and fifth round pick potentially, similar to the capital you gave up for Leonard Williams. I'm not doing that. I am not doing that for Jessie Bates. He's a good football player. None of this is a knock on Jessie Bates at all. But this has to do with the position the Seahawks are in. To me, it just doesn't make sense for what the Seahawks are looking for. What do you guys think? Should the Seahawks trade for Jessie Bates? Type Y for yes, in for no. Weigh in the comments section and tell us what you think if the Seahawks should trade for Bates or not. Father's Day is just around the corner, and what better gift to give Dad than a Seahawks #1 Dad t-shirt? These are on sale now at chatsports.com/SeahawksDad. Although this would be a great Father's Day gift, Dad is going to be able to wear this shirt all year round, so he can tell all his buddies when he shows up at Lumen Field that he's the #1 dad. He's the #1 Seahawks dad. Take care of the Seahawks dad in your life and get him this shirt. Still time to get it before Father's Day. Take care of Dad now. Chatsports.com/SeahawksDad. The link is in the comments and description of today's video. Might stumble upon some free shipping. Be on the lookout for that as well. Chatsports.com/SeahawksDad. All right, let's talk Jessie Bates now. Jessie Bates, the second-round pick in 2018 out of Wake Forest by the Bengals, had a very good run in Cincinnati, and then ultimately joined the Atlanta Falcons, where he had the best season of his career last year. A Pro Bowler, was a second-team All-Pro for the second time in his career. And here's the other factor when it comes to Jessie Bates. Not just that I don't want to give up draft compensation for a safety and do that whole charade again. It's a lot of money Jessie Bates is making. 3 years, $40 million still remaining on his contract at this point in time. And the numbers, Jessie Bates, again, this is not a knock on Jessie Bates at all. He is a very good football player. 4 interceptions, 71 tackles, 8 pass breakups last year. You look at his coverage stats, his grades last year, completion percentage allowed was about 65%, not great, 380 yards, 3 touchdowns with the interceptions and everything. I mean, it was a good year. But 2 things can be true. The Seahawks need to make a splash on defense. They still need to add one more key contributor. but they don't need to mortgage their future and sacrifice the long term in the process. Mike Macdonald, this Seahawks organization, the pieces they have in place, they're in for the long haul. This is not just about next year. This is about building pieces for the next several years forward. I'm just not looking to give up that much salary and those draft picks for a guy like Bates. Who should the Seahawks trade for, though? Who's the player you'd like to see come to Seattle before the season begins? Weigh in the comment section. Let us know what you think. If you enjoyed today's show, you want to stick it to the Cowboys, like today's video. We certainly would appreciate it, and we'll see you next time right here on Seahawks Today.